Yo, what up? What up? Just got through watching the 1984 college basketball game. This is my third time watching it. Um, Michael Jordan versus Len Bias, Maryland versus North Carolina. Great game. I think this was one of the games that, if I can remember back then, where people say, "Oh, these two could have had a good rivalry with each other. This guy could have been the Bird to Magic, or the Wilt Chamberlain to Bill Russell, for Michael Jordan." Unfortunately, you're never gonna get to see that. We never got to see that. But yeah, man, just I hope some of you guys actually watched the game if you caught it. I mean, it was on ESPN. I caught it by just flipping through. I had no idea it was on, but so it brought me back a little bit. So, with that being said, check this clip out of Len Bias.
Bias, a great many people thought was going to be that impactful. You have to be 40 years old, perhaps closer to 50, to remember him clearly as an All-American at Maryland. The way he put 35 on the Tar Heels at Chapel Hill.
What a job by Bias.
Or 41 on the Blue Devils at Campbell.
And he got that exclamation point.
In case you can't remember, he stood 6'8", had Sean Kemp's explosion, Michael Jordan's athleticism, and a jump shot from basketball heaven. Straight up, flick, bucket. No leaning, no drifting, back down to the floor with the bold defiance of a young Jim Brown. Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski told the Boston Globe's Bob Ryan 17 years ago, quote, "This is my 24th year at Duke, and in that time, there have been two opposing players who have really stood out, Michael Jordan and Len Bias," close quote.
Oh my! And he made the steal and a jam! What a play by Bias!
Those of us who had the pleasure of watching him believe Bias would have been to Jordan what Bird was to Magic. A true, natural, equally fierce rival. The singular decade-long rival Jordan never had. And his tragic death 2 days after the Celtics drafted Bias with the second overall pick in June of 1986 left us all with nothing to do but fantasize about how great we believe he would have been. How great the royal influence of Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish would have been. The kid having to earn his stripes against the original Big Three every day in practice.
Well, they're a good team, and they got a good supporting players. I can go up there and sit on the bench, or whether go in there and play or not, and I learn a lot from the players there.
Of course, fantasize is all we were left with. He never got to share the court with Bird, McHale, and Parrish, or for that matter, with Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Karl Malone, Sean Kemp, or Jordan. We're left with grainy clips which don't always confirm what we remember or anticipate. Those too young to have seen him surely wonder if the retelling of his story have become too grand and outsized, while those of us who saw him are absolutely certain it's justified.
Thank you so much, Michael Wilbon. We're now joined by Jay Bilas. Jay, you played against Len Bias in college when you were at Duke. When you look back on those meetings, what still stands out about his game?
Well, that Bias wasn't just a great player. He was an amazing player. I mean, we used to call him Superman because that's what he appeared to be every time he stepped on a basketball floor. And Michael Wilbon was right. Like, his athleticism was not only off the charts, but he was powerful in that. He was one of the most powerful two-footed jumpers that I had seen. And he was a magnificent jump shooter. Just had beautiful form, shot over 80% from the free throw line. He was truly unstoppable. And at that time in the ACC, there were three guys that stood out above everybody else: Michael Jordan, Ralph Sampson, and Len Bias. And Bias could get 40 on you every time he stepped on the floor, double teams or not. He would have been a Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer had he lived.
We never got the Bias-Jordan NBA rivalry that Wilbon referred to in that piece. What impact do you think Bias could have had on Jordan's dominance over the league?
On his dominant, I don't think anything would have affected Jordan's dominance. I think he still would have been the dominant figure, but he would have had in Len Bias a clear rival. I mean, it's just hard for me to believe, Jay, that you could see guys come out of college like Barkley or Drexler or Malone or you name it, and Bias wouldn't have been their equal or above them. He was that talented and just ridiculous in his ability level. And I mean, great players would look at him and be in awe. He was awe-inspiring, and there just aren't that many people. And the only thing I would differ with, though, Jay, in Michael Wilbon's piece, is his grainy video comment. It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't like Matthew Brady was taking our team pictures. You can still get good video of Bias. It's worth watching.
Yes, you can.
8mm.
I know, right? And speaking of, today, 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to take fans back to the 83-84 college basketball season with that 84 matchup between North Carolina and Maryland. The game played on January 12, 1984, featuring 2 All-Americans and Michael Jordan and Sam Perkins against 2-time ACC Player of the Year, Len Bias. And you can catch that right here on ESPN. Oh, the video's gotten better.
All right, so there you have it. That was a good piece. You got to give it up to the Boston Celtics, man. They know how to run a good franchise. They've always been good at finding good talent and putting together a good franchise. That team definitely could have gave the Bulls some classic battles in the 90s. And you had guys like Reggie Lewis. He could have been a good role player, probably an all-star a couple of seasons too. But I think that team would have been built around Len Bias. And there's no telling how far that team would have went. I mean, maybe they would have beat the Bulls for a season or two. They could have probably beat them in 93 or 92 or something like that. Too bad we would never know, man. But, yeah, unfortunate news, and, it just leaves you wondering with the what if, we got to see these two guys play against each other. It would have been something fun, but nevertheless, I don't think he wouldn't stop Jordan from being an all-star, of course. Jordan still would have been an all-star, but he would have had at least somebody to go at against, and somebody that he could say, okay, I'm circling this date on my calendar to play against this guy. So it would have been something fun to watch. But I don't know if you guys catch that 1984 game that they played on ESPN. If you did, tell me what you thought about it. It was a pretty fun game, fast-paced, up and down the court. Good fun basketball to watch, man. It definitely took you back, But yeah, peace. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and everybody have a nice day, man. It's a good day on Sunday. We're in phase 2 of the coronavirus pandemic, and things are starting to get a little back to normal, which is good because more people are outside now. Slowly but surely things are coming back. It's a good thing.